What's up everyone, welcome to a new card review. Now last time we checked out Ancient Dragon, which looked amazing but kinda lacked in power. So in this review, I received a request from FanGuy99, and he wanted me to review a very popular card back in the day, and that card will be Dark Simorgh. So let's check out what this giant bird of darkness can do. So with no further ado, let's get this review started. What can I say about this giant bird of darkness? It's pretty much a recolor of Simorgh Bird of Divinity. But judging that I haven't talked about that card yet, I guess I can at least talk about this card's art. We see some cool things on this card. It has some nice textures with his feathers around his body, even his wings. We also see that it has long tail feathers, as well as some jewels on his wings, and it makes it look royalty. Hell, it's even wearing a crown. We see a dark ring-like object behind its back, and I like it. It reminds me of the ring behind Bahamut's back from Final Fantasy X. The background looks pretty interesting too. It looks like it's coming out of a dust storm, which makes it look fierce and deadly in a way. So the artwork on this card is pretty good, even though this monster is just a dark recolor of the original Simorgh. So what's my score? Well, it's getting a 4.5 out of 5. Let's check out its effect. While face up on the field, this card is also a wind attribute. You can banish one dark monster and one wind monster from your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. You can banish one dark monster and one wind monster from your hand. Special summon this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot set any cards on the field. This effect is really good. For one, once it's on the field, it's not just a dark attribute, it's also wind attribute. It's similar to Light and Darkness Dragon's effect, with it being two attributes at once. The cool thing about this card is that you can remove two monsters from your graveyard from play to special summon this monster from your hand, as long as they fit the requirement of one wind and one dark monster. So the summoning cost is similar to the summoning of cards such as Chaos Sorcerer and Envoy the Beginning. Of course, this is not the only way of summoning him. You can also special summon him from your graveyard by removing a dark and wind monster from your hand from play. Damn, so this bird has two ways of summoning him, and it's not that hard to do, if you're playing the right kind of deck. And speaking of that, we'll be heading to deck choices soon. But here's the one reason why I like this card. This card prevents your opponent from setting cards, so that means your opponent cannot set monsters or even traps in order to defend themselves. So yes, this effect is very brutal in an amazing way. This card will make your opponent shake in fear with this monster's deadly effect. So my score for its effect is a 5 out of 5. What kind of deck will this card be good in? That's a very good question, because I've been doing a shit ton of research, and there are a lot of deck types that can go well with this card. It's crazy! But just for the sake of time, we're only going to look at one deck type, and we'll check out 5 of the monsters that I find interesting. Also 2 spells and 2 traps. If you guys want to check out the other deck types of this card, I'll add a link in the description box down below. So what deck type am I going to look at for deck choices? Well, I'm looking at the Blackwing/Harpy Lady deck type. Why, you may ask? Well, because I like Blackwings and Harpy Ladies, and to see them in a deck together is pretty awesome. So let's check out the monsters of this deck type. Blackwing Zephyros the Elite is one cool Blackwing monster to use. Hell, this thing will go great for a lot of decks. So what does it do? Well, if you have this card in your graveyard, you can special summon it by returning one face-up card you control on the field back to your hand. You take 400 points of damage due to its effect, but this thing will be useful in a synchro summons or as well as an exceed summon. Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind is an awesome level 3 tuner monster and one of my favorites. Once per turn, you can cut the attack and defense of one monster your opponent controls side of the field. This is a great way to weaken your opponent's strongest monster on the field. Cyber Harpy Lady is a great level 4 monster with high attack. Its effect is nothing special though. Its name is just treated as Harpy Lady. Harpy Lady 1 is a great supporter for your wind monsters. Once this lady is on the field, all your wind monsters gain 300 attack. That's pretty handy. This card may not be a Blackwing or a Harpy Lady, but it still works well. Battlestorm is one cool looking monster, and here's what it does. This card gains 100 attack for each winged beast you control. This deck has a shit ton of winged beasts though, so that's not a problem. But here's the cool part of its effect. If you control 3 or more winged beast monsters, you can destroy one spell or trap on your opponent's side of the field. So it's similar to Mystical Space Typhoon in a way. Now let's check out some spell cards. Heartbeat Tunning Ground is one great field spell that works well for Heartbeat Ladies and Winged Beast types overall. When this card is on the field, all Winged Beasts gain 200 attack and defense, but here's the cool part about the field spell. Once a Heartbeat Lady is summoned onto the field, you can target one of your opponent's spell or trap cards and destroy it. Just for shits and giggles, I should at least talk about this monster before we talk about the next spell card. Heartbeat Queen is a great card for Heartbeat Hunting Ground. If you need Hunting Ground as soon as possible, you can discard Heartbeat Queen from your hand to add Heartbeat Hunting Ground from your deck to your hand. Now for the other spell card. Black Whirlwind is a great card to help you add more Black Wings to your hand. Once you summon a Blackwing on the field, you can add a Blackwing monster from your deck to your hand, but the monster you choose has to have less attack points than the monster you normal summoned. Now for traps. Icarus Attack is one great card that goes well for decks that have a lot of Winged Beast monsters. Just offer one of your Winged Beasts on the field, and then target 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy them. Spiritual Wind Art Miyabi is a pretty cool trap card for wind monsters. Just offer one wind monster you control, and then select one card your opponent controls and then place it at the bottom of their deck. This card is great for trolling your opponent. So overall, Dark Simorgh can go great with any deck, as long as you have a lot of dark and wind monsters. Then it will be just fine. So my score for deck choices, it's getting a 4.5 out of 5. So overall, Dark Simorgh is one awesome card. Its art is pretty cool, a very strong effect, and will most likely be great in a deck that has a lot of dark and wind monsters. I have to thank Fanguy99 for allowing me to review this card for him, so a link to his channel will be down in the description box down below. So what's my final score for Dark Simorgh? Well, it's getting the overall score of a 4.8 out of 5. That's it for this review, and if you guys have any cards you want me to review for future reviews, just leave a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. Next time I'll be reviewing, well, you guys will just have to wait and see. The next review is going to be something special for a certain someone. So remember guys, comment, rate, and subscribe. This is Dragon Core 7, and I'll be seeing you all next time.